Hello again, everybody. It's the American Doofus Show. I'm Barry Welsh, your host. Don't be a doofus. We're doing an update on Kenosha, Wisconsin. Gentleman Jacob Blake, I did not know his name when we did the special edition last night. Jacob Blake was shot at 7 times. We don't know how many bullets actually struck him. It was at very close range, so it's hard to imagine that he was not shot several times out of the seven shots that were fired by the police officer. Mr. Blake is in intensive care. Mr. Blake is still alive, thankfully. He was in surgery and then is in intensive care. That may be the one bright spot out of everything that happened last night in the early morning hours in Kenosha. Some white people call anytime there's a protest, they automatically deem it a riot. What happened last night and into the early morning hours was indeed a riot in Kenosha, Wisconsin. There were fires, there were vehicle fires, there were structural fires, there were active shootings, there were police shooting at protesters who had shot at them first from a location. There were reports of active shooting going on all throughout the night. There was tear gas deployed. There was looting, businesses destroyed. Everything that you would see in a riot, that's what happened in Kenosha last night and into the early morning hours. And quite frankly, I'm anticipating the same thing going on tonight, only possibly bigger. It all happened very, very fast. Yesterday in the late afternoon, early evening, Jacob Blake was shot by one of the Kenosha Police Department. The police were unprepared for what happened. They were overwhelmed by people of all colors over this incredibly horrendous act. Here's a little bit of video from what it looked like last night. This CJTV, again, I was just about to say that, from Portland. It was he's making his way to Washington, D.C. for
touring the city here in a minute and seeing what else is going on. Right now, this is just is in flames.
CJ's on his way to Washington, D.C. to cover that march later on this week. What you're seeing is a car lot that is basically on fire. The rioters set one of the vehicles on fire, and the vehicle that they caught on fire ended up catching the entire parking lot, or the entire used car lot, on fire. The fires began. Well, first of all, there was a large protest at police precinct headquarters. That's where the police were overwhelmed. Then it went out throughout the city. Again, it happened so fast. The first things that caught on fire, the police had used pickup trucks and trash trucks to block the streets, and those were the first things set on fire. They attempted to set the courthouse on fire. The courthouse, made primarily of concrete, didn't burn. This car lot, the car lot fire that you saw, I wanted you to see that because right behind that car lot is a church, and CJ of CJTV and a couple of other live streamers, quite frankly, did some heroic work and directed the fire department where to go, and they were able to keep the church from catching on fire. So another small bright spot, and some good work by live streamers. Here's what it looks like this morning in Kenosha, the same car lot. All the cars in the car lot basically exploding, tires exploding, gas tanks exploding. It was a horrific scene. And again, if you want to watch all of that video throughout its entirety, go to CJTV, a Portland live streamer that he'd been in Minneapolis, Minnesota for the George Floyd mural. They'd come down to Chicago, and like everyone else, they were suddenly caught off guard and made the hour drive up to Kenosha, Wisconsin. Kenosha is a city of about 100,000 people. It's known for its museums. It's known to be the Jelly Belly, jelly bean center of the country, and we'll keep an eye on what's happening there. Of course, we're still focused on Louisville. There's some word there may be some unrest starting to kindle in Indianapolis. Keeping an eye on that. As always, please subscribe. You can email me at americandoofus@gmail.com. You can go to American Doofus on Facebook and leave me a message. If there's something you think, something in your area that we need to talk about that's not getting talked about, let me know. I've got some emails on some issues that people think need to be brought to the forefront. I'm going to look into them. It doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to cover everything that's sent to me, but I always will take a look at whatever's sent to me in the email and on Messenger. So a brief update on what's happening in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Going to keep an eye on it throughout the day, and we'll have more later on in the next episode of the American Doofus Show. I'm your host, Barry Welsh. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. If you love somebody, tell them you love them. If you don't have any love in your heart, don't know too many people like that. I'm Barry Welsh, American Doofus Show. Don't be a doofus.